Hey there, and welcome to today's deep dive. Ever feel like you're just drowning in cybersecurity jargon? Like you're prepping for this big meeting on compliance and
Yeah,
you're totally overwhelmed.
it's a lot.
It is. But we're right there with you, except we got our hands on this demo for this new AI platform called ComplianceAide, and it's supposed to be like ChatGPT, but for cybersecurity compliance.
It's a tall order. Cybersecurity compliance is very complex.
Totally. So naturally, we had to try it out. And you know what? This demo starts off pretty strong. So picture this. You upload all your cybersecurity documents, your policies, procedures, everything, the whole shebang,
Yeah.
and ComplianceAide analyzes them against frameworks like Cyber Essentials, NIST, even ISO 27001.
Yeah, it's really interesting, actually, because it's tapping into this growing need. We're seeing more and more AI being used to automate these tasks, right?
Right.
Which are essential,
Yep.
but they're often, let's face it, kind of tedious, these compliance tasks. And this frees up human expertise for more of that strategic thinking, which is really needed.
It's like having like a tireless assistant who just lives for this stuff.
Yeah.
But how does it actually work? So the demo walks us through this scenario where someone needs to get compliant with the Cyber Essentials framework. We're talking real-time interaction, like you're talking to it, this chat interface, asking questions, getting guidance, the whole 9 yards.
Yeah, and that's really key.
Yeah.
It's not just about making things automatic,
Right.
but actually giving users clear, understandable explanations along the way. Because, let's be honest, cybersecurity compliance can feel like you're navigating a maze, especially if you're not doing it every single day.
Oh, 100%.
It can be very confusing.
It's very confusing.
Yeah.
So it's like having a GPS for compliance, which, let's be honest, I think we could all use that.
Absolutely, yeah.
But here's where I thought it got really interesting. They use something called level 2 reasoning AI models and multimodal AI.
Okay.
And I have to admit, when I first saw that, I was like, what?
It sounds very jargony.
Very jargony. But
Yeah.
stick with me because it's actually really cool.
Okay.
So what is this? I mean, break it down for us.
Yeah, so level 2 reasoning.
Yeah.
Basically, it means the AI can understand the context, the relationships within the documents that it analyzes. So imagine like a detective, They're piecing together all these different clues to solve a case.
Yeah.
That's what this AI is doing, but with your cybersecurity documents
Okay, yeah.
instead of a crime.
So it's not just looking for keywords, it's actually understanding what it's looking at.
Exactly, yeah. It's understanding the meaning.
Oh, that's so cool. And then the multimodal part, what is that?
So multimodal AI just means that the platform can handle more than just text.
Okay.
So we're talking images, charts, graphs,
Oh, wow.
all of it.
So this is a game changer because, like, usually these tools just look at...
Yeah, traditional compliance tools really struggle with that visual or unstructured data.
Oh, okay. So, like, if a security policy has a network diagram, ComplianceAide can actually understand that.
That's amazing.
It's about understanding the full picture, not just, like, these isolated pieces of information.
I like that.
And that's where it gets powerful.
Okay. And speaking of full picture, the demo then goes into this real-time mapping and gap analysis
Yes.
capabilities, which is a mouthful.
It is.
It basically takes all the evidence that you upload
Okay.
and maps it against, whatever framework you chose, the requirements.
Yeah.
And get this, it gives you this visual map that highlights what is and is not compliant.
That's great because that level of transparency is essential. You see, for users to really trust AI, any AI-driven solutions, they need to understand how it works. How does it arrive at its conclusions? And visualizing that through mapping makes it so much more accessible.
Totally.
And it builds confidence in the AI's recommendations. It's like looking at your compliance posture with, like, X-ray vision almost.
Exactly, yeah. It sees right through everything.
I love that.
It's great.
Okay, so I don't know about you, but I am impressed.
Yeah.
Like, for me,
It's slick.
this is, like, really cool. But ComplianceAide does not stop there.
No.
It also generates these custom dashboards that are tailored to your organization's specific data. So forget those old static reports.
Right.
This is like dynamic insights all in one place.
Yeah, it's about moving beyond just checking those boxes, and moving towards an approach to cybersecurity that is proactive and informed.
Right.
So these dashboards really let you see your security posture in real time,
Okay.
understand your risk, and then you can make better decisions, more strategic decisions.
It's like having a cybersecurity command center right at your fingertips.
Exactly, yeah.
And speaking of taking action, one of the things that really impressed me was that it generated a complete incident response policy. Like it just made one. So it takes all this information and it writes you a policy.
I know, it's really impressive, and it really highlights the potential that AI has to streamline these tasks
Right.
and really free up experts to focus on the stuff that really matters, some more complex issues. Having said that, it's really important to remember that AI can draft these policies, but humans are still really essential in this process.
Right. It's not about replacing, it's about
Augmenting.
augmenting. There we go.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah.
So the AI can provide that foundation, that really strong foundation.
Yeah.
But it's the humans, right, that come in with the nuance, the context, the actual real-world experience that these documents need.
So it's a team effort.
It is. It's totally a collaborative
Let's
effort.
make this happen.
Absolutely. And it goes beyond just policy creation, too. One of the things that really stood out to me in this demo was how ComplianceAide really encourages the user to engage throughout the process.
Okay.
So it's not just a passive system.
Right.
You actually have to do things. You have to upload evidence. You have to interact with the platform.
So you can't just like set it and forget it.
Exactly, exactly. You've got to be involved. And honestly, that's a good thing, because the act of gathering and reviewing evidence, that's so valuable for organizations.
Okay.
It forces them to really take stock of what they have, see if there are any gaps, really get to know their own security posture.
So they built that into the design almost. Like, we're going to make you do this because it's good for you.
It's like, we're here to help, but you got to meet us halfway.
I like that.
Yeah, it's about building a culture of cybersecurity awareness and responsibility, not just automating things away.
Okay. Yeah, I see what you mean.
And another thing, just to add, I really appreciated the level of detail in the mapping report. So it doesn't just say compliant or not compliant.
Right.
It actually gives you citations
Oh, wow.
from the documents you uploaded to back up its conclusions.
So you can see, like, okay, this is where it's pulling this from.
Exactly, exactly.
That's cool.
That transparency is crucial because it builds trust.
Right.
And it helps users understand the AI's reasoning, and they can see, okay, maybe this is where we need to improve something.
So it's like, instead of just being like, you're wrong, it's like, here's why I think you should look at this.
Yes, exactly. It's all about understanding the why behind those recommendations.
And those dashboards, man.
Those are cool.
They're so visually engaging.
Yeah, they really are.
Seeing your compliance laid out like that really changes things, I think, in terms of making decisions.
It does. It gives you a real-time snapshot of what's going on in your organization.
Okay.
You can see if anything's going wrong, track your progress,
Right.
and really make informed decisions about, what to do next.
So it's like having a crystal ball, but for your cybersecurity.
Exactly. It's like looking into the future.
I like it. Okay, so looking ahead, kind of big picture now, with AI getting, more and more sophisticated, where do you see this going? What's the future of cybersecurity compliance?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it?
Yeah.
It really is. But it has the potential, AI has the potential to really change how we think about cybersecurity compliance completely. Like, imagine if we could automate all those manual, really time-consuming tasks.
Right.
And free up cybersecurity professionals, let them focus on strategy.
That sounds amazing, especially for anybody who's ever had to deal with compliance audits.
Oh, I know, right?
They're the worst.
The worst.
But okay, so what about the human element here? Are we talking about like robots replacing cybersecurity professionals completely?
I don't think so. I think it's really more about collaboration. Like, AI can do the heavy lifting, right? It can look at these huge amounts of data.
And identify risks. But you still need that human expertise to interpret all of that, to make those judgment calls, and then to figure out, okay, what are the solutions here?
So it's more like AI is like your really powerful sidekick.
Exactly.
Not like taking over the whole operation.
Exactly. It's about making us better, augmenting our capabilities,
Okay.
helping us to work smarter, make better decisions, and then, really importantly, stay ahead of all those new threats that are always coming up.
Which there are a lot of.
Always.
Okay. But I do have to ask about the downsides, right? I mean, AI is powerful.
Oh, yeah.
But with great power comes great responsibility, as they say.
Absolutely, that is definitely true. I think one of the biggest challenges is going to be making sure that these systems are developed and used responsibly. We have to be so careful about bias, in the data that's used to train these algorithms,
Right. Yeah.
and then making sure that they're used ethically.
So we're not just building smart AI, we're building ethical AI.
Exactly.
We need to make sure these tools are actually making things better,
Right.
improving security and compliance, and not creating new risks or unintended consequences.
Yeah, because that would be like the opposite of what we want.
Exactly.
Okay, so it sounds like we are really at the beginning of a huge change in how we think about cybersecurity compliance. So for organizations that are listening to this and they're kind of, wondering, how do we deal with this? What do we do? What would your advice be?
I think the most important thing is to foster a culture of continuous learning
Okay.
because things are changing so fast in cybersecurity.
Yeah.
Like if you're not learning, you're falling behind, basically.
So you can't just buy a new tool, implement it, and then just like assume everything's fine.
No, you can't just set it and forget it. It's about really understanding the threats, making sure you're using new technology the right way, and then making sure that everyone on your team is up to date.
So it's really about education at the end of the day.
Yeah, it is.
And keeping the human element front and center in all of this.
Absolutely, because
Oh,
really, cybersecurity is about people,
that's a great point.
protecting people. And AI can be a really valuable tool for that, but at the end of the day,
Yeah.
it's always going to be about the humans.
That is a fantastic note to end on. Thank you so much for taking us on this deep dive into the future of cybersecurity compliance. It's clearly a really exciting time to be working in this field.
It really is. Lots of challenges, but lots of opportunities too.
I like that. And listeners, thank you for joining us on this deep dive. We hope you found it really informative. Be sure to check back for more explorations into the world of technology and everything else that we talk about. Until next time, stay curious.